I'm doing this video about setting apart the name of Yah, or sanctifying his name. This is all the scriptures we're going to be doing, because we know that when we do things against his commandments, we are bringing dishonor to his name. When we disobey him, we are dishonoring him. And this is stuff we're going to be reading about right here today. You know, if we want to get into his kingdom, this is stuff that we don't have to, we should not be doing if we're going to be blessed with that goodness in his kingdom. We're going to start this off at Isaiah chapter 8. And this is how I got the title of this lesson. You know, just thinking about these scriptures in this place here. Isaiah chapter 8. We're going to start this at verse 12. Well, no, actually 13. It says, "Sanctify Yahuwah of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread." Please keep in mind that I use the Hebrew pronunciation of the Father's name, and this is what his name is, because I know that I went in I had a Nelson's edition Bible, and I went in the back under Y and looked under his name, and you know, the names of Lord and God in the back, it says those are substitutions. Those are substitutions of his name. So if we're supposed to be setting apart his name, why are we substituting it with other titles? Why are we substituting his name? I know the name that's on the covenant, that's on the will and the testament, if you will. Like if you got a will, this person's name gonna be on that will. If you make a covenant, his name is gonna be on that covenant. So if you setting apart his name, and if you walking in righteousness, you know, you can use his name. Use his name. Sanctify his name. Set it apart. Because his name is holy. Set that name apart. So it says, "Sanctify Yahuwah of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread." And we can read in Deuteronomy chapter 10 how to fear him. It tell you how to fear him, how to love him, how to serve him, how to walk in his ways. And it says to keep his commandments. Deuteronomy chapter 10. Let's go there. So we know how to set apart his name, or sanctify his name. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 9. Oh, actually not 7, but 10. 10 and verse 12. Deuteronomy 10 and verse 12. "Now Israel, what doth Yahuwah thy Elohim require of thee, but to fear Yahuwah thy Elohim, to walk in his ways, to love him, to serve Yahuwah with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of Yahuwah and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good." So you don't have to take the time to learn his commandments and statutes. I'll tell you where they are. They're in Exodus chapter 20. They're in Leviticus 23. They're in Leviticus 11. You know, they're in Leviticus 19. You know how to deal with your fellow man. Love your neighbor as thyself is not a new commandment, but it's a commandment that was in Leviticus 19. All that's how you set him apart, and how you bring honor to his name, because you're being obedient. And we're going to read about how you dishonor his name later on in this passage. Leviticus 20 and verse 7. We can read another example of setting apart his name, what he calls you to do. Because you know the word sanctified means set apart. The word holy also means set apart. You know, it means set apart from everything, every other god that's on this planet. So to sanctify his name, you don't do things attributed to other gods. That's not worshiping him. That's worshiping that other god. You're not sanctifying his name, because his name is set apart from all these gods of the heathen, of the nations, and all their customs. Bring honor to his name. Leviticus chapter 20. chapter 20, in verse 7. Let's read actually up at verse 20. What verse 1, I mean. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, and saying again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel or of the strangers, meaning he requires all those who have heard about his deliverance, who have came out with the Israelites and are joined to them. So he requires that of everybody, Israel and the strangers. Of the children or the stranger that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Molech, that he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. We don't do that no more. But, the judgment is deferred. Don't mean you ain't going to have no judgment. Next time that judgment is going to be the lake of fire. Because you took his grace, which he has sent by his only begotten son, and you trampled that underfoot. That's worse. It's a much sorer punishment that we can read in Hebrews. I think might be in Hebrews chapter 9, but I ain't gonna go there. I don't recall off top. He shall surely be put to death, and the people of the land shall stone him with stones. And I will set my face against that man, and I will cut him off from among his people, because he hath given his seed unto Molech to defile my sanctuary and to profane my holy name. Look at that. This is how you profane his name, with these other gods. He has given his seed to this other god to defile my sanctuary. And they say the body is the temple of Elohim. Whosoever defile his temple, him shall Elohim destroy. Because the body is a temple for his Holy Spirit to dwell in. So all this stuff, is to keep you from this sin. If we think about this stuff, we think about bringing honor to his name. If we got parents, we don't want to dishonor our parents and bring dishonor to their name. So how much more the Most High? How much more the King of the universe, of everything that exists? And if the people of the land do in any ways hide their eyes from the man, when he giveth his seed unto Molech, and kill him not, then I will set my face against that man and against his family, and will cut him off, and all that go a whoring after him, to commit whoredom with Molech from among the people. So look at that. Why is that whoredom? Because the Most High has a covenant with his people. His covenant stands forever. Like a marriage. Like you have vows. You're supposed to honor those vows, but they don't teach you that in this society. They teach you to say some vain, repetitive words, not from your heart. You repeating after a man. You ain't saying these words from your heart. You just repeating them. That's why you got so much divorce going on and whoredom. So this is whoredom in the eyes of the Most High, because his covenant is with his people. And you breaking that covenant by going to another god, just like a woman go to another man. And we are looked at as like a bride. And the father is the husband. And the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits and after wizards to go a whoring after them, I will even set my face against that soul, and will cut him off from among his people. Sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be you holy. For I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. Be you holy, because I'm your Elohim. That's what he says. Sanctify yourselves. If he be your Elohim, if you're going after these other gods, you obeying the lust of your flesh. You obeying the adversary. That's of the adversary. And so you're going to end up in that lake of fire doing that. If you die in that sin, you're going to go straight to that lake of fire. You're going to be judged according to that work. And you shall keep my statutes and do them. I am Yahuwah, which do sanctify you, or do set you apart. Do make you different from these nations. I make you different from these. Don't do after they matter. Now let's go to First Peter 3. And they did translate this in different ways. Some says Messiah, but I know when it says capital LRD and the God after it, that means Yahuwah your Elohim. But if some translations got the Messiah, says sanctify Messiah. So either way it goes, if you sanctify yourself in the Master, you sanctifying yourself in the Father. So that's the same thing, because the Messiah was the one chosen, the one that he set up, the one that he appointed. Said, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him." And he said he will put his words in his mouth. So you listen to him, you will listen to the Father, because he's speaking his words. His word is in him, right? But I'm gonna read this how it's translated, because I saw different translations says Messiah. Let's go up to actually 1 Peter 3 and 14. 12. 1 Peter 3 and 12. For the eyes of Yahuwah are over the righteous, and his ears are open to their prayers. So he hears the prayers of the righteous. But the face of Yahuwah is against them that do evil. Do evil. How do you do evil? You depart from his commandments and do that which he hates, which he will cause you to be cut off from his people. Meaning you ain't gonna have no inheritance in that place where he put his name. You ain't gonna have no place in there. You're gonna be outside of the gates, like Revelation chapter 20 say. Dogs and the whoremongers and the sorcerers and idolaters, those that love it and make a lie. But if you suffer and 13, who is he that will harm you if ye be followers of that which is good? But if you suffer for righteousness' sake, happy are you, and be not afraid of their terror, neither be troubled. But sanctify Yahuwah Elohim in your hearts, and be ready always to give answer to every man that asks you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear. Having a good conscience that whereas that speak evil of you as evildoers, they may be ashamed that falsely accuse your good conversation in Messiah. So, if you walk as he walked, he said he leads in the way of righteousness. That's why he says, follow me. Because you follow his steps, you're going to be on the road to righteousness. Because this man was perfect. Right? But we're going to go up. We're going to go back up to 15, because it says, sanctify Yahuwah your Elohim in your hearts. How do you sanctify him in your heart? What's supposed to be in there? In your heart. We're gonna go and